Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Side to Side Sportscast, where it's your boys, Will, Wudi, and CJ. And you already know we come to break it on down from the court side, the ring side, them sidelines, and for them sports they play outdoors. We outside, we side to side. That's how we ride. And today we're going to kick it off with a courtside special. Let's talk about the NBA Finals. Let's talk about the series is currently split at 1. Hey, the name of the game is you got to win on the road. Boston came out to a hot start. Well, they were losing the game, but that fourth quarter was one of the best fourth quarters you'll ever see in NBA Finals history. But then Golden State bounced back and the game was virtually tied 52-50. It was a 2-point game and a half. They bust that ASS in the second half. They absolutely did. So now we're going to Boston to get the showdown going on. Fellas, what do you think about the first two games, and what do you think is going to happen from here?
It was honestly, I've been having a good time. I've been having a great time watching these finals. These are two teams that know how to play defense, and they clearly know how to shoot that three ball. I think the X factor was always going to be the role players. You know, not necessarily the Stephs and the Jasons, but the Horfords, you know, and the Jordan Pools of the world. And you know, we kind of saw pretty much that was kind of the difference, right? In game one, Al Horford was playing out of his mind. I don't even know who he thought he was. You know, that first game, Derek White. I mean, I don't even know what was going on. And then game two, I mean, Jordan Poole. I did not know what was going on. That third quarter buzzer beater was unbelievable. So I really think that's going to be the difference maker. But, you know, also consistency. Steph Curry might be the only person in this entire series that's actually showed up to play basketball both times so far in this series. So, you know, can we get a more consistent performance out of our stars? You know, Jason Tatum, come on, man. You know, Clay, he shot for $4 million in game two. So, you know, consistency and you know those role players, I think are the two keys. We saw literally game one, it was in favor of one team's role players, and in game two, it was in favor of the other teams.
I can't disagree with you on any of that. You know, the first listen clearly as a green teamer, you know, I'm happy taking the split. Right, things could have been much worse. I thought game two was going to be game one, honestly. And the Celtics figured something out in the fourth quarter. I thought that was going to carry over. It seemed to carry over, at least for, I don't know, almost a half, right? They only kind of started to deteriorate in the latter half of the second quarter. And, you know, the one thing I can say about that game is, like, I mean, Draymond Green gets away with a lot. And I don't mean that he gets away with different things. Like, you know, there's floppers and people like that. He's not a flopper. He's just an instigator. And nowadays it feels like they're just teeing up everybody for everything, right? Like, and the fact that there's just been so much let go was surprising. I'd be really I just can't understand how that they let that fly, and I don't think it's going to fly in Boston, which is why I think there's going to be a bit of a difference, right? Going in the momentum, perhaps they're going to grab game three. Then it's going to boil down. We'll talk about the future game. I know we're talking about games 1 and 2 right now. But yeah, I think honestly, Draymond is a bigger factor in this game against the Celtics than anything they haven't seen anybody like that before, right? Like nobody really goes and gets under your skin like Draymond. Like that.
I guess the side to side sports world was done listening to CJ talk about Draymond.
I thought I was. I actually thought I was frozen, but it looks like CJ might be frozen.
CJ
So,
on ice. There you go. He's back, unthawed. Let's go.
oh yes.
All in all, I basically agree with you. Tatum and Brown, they need to show up. They are both playing what looks like scared basketball, right? They're turning the ball over. They're not shooting at a high clip at all. I mean, at a high percentage. Jalen started out 4 for 5 last game, and I was like, all right, here we go. This is his game. He's going to turn it on and have a crazy game. And then he made one more shot, I think, the rest of the game. Or I think he finished 5 for 17. So, yeah, one more shot the rest of the game. You can't have that. You got to keep going. You got to make shots. So, Gaddy, take it away. I'm gonna have a lot more to talk about later.
Between these first two games, game one was unreal. The Celtics caught that game. Both teams were just hitting threes at a high clip, and it was I am one who is on record. I despise the modern era of basketball because you're shooting 40 to 50 threes a game, whereas back in the day is more to 10 to 15 threes. Teams are just jacking it up and they miss a lot. But man, it was so good to see these shots going in time and time up the court. And Boston is the one who figured out how to play the perimeter in the fourth quarter, and they put the clamps on Golden State. Game two, the adjustments kicked in. Kerr brought in Gary Payton II and put him on Marcus Smart. Took Marcus Smart out of the game. Turned up the level on Draymond Green, getting in Grant Williams' head, Robert Williams' head, and Horford's head. Not letting everybody was just leaving Horford open. The trio of Horford, Smart, and White, who went for 65 in game one, only combined for 16 in game two. And between Marcus Smart and Horford, I think they had 4 points combined. So the adjustment was in. Bench players like Jordan Poole started to get going. He didn't get going in the first game. He got going in the second game. But if you look at the box score, this is why you really can't just look at the box score. If you look at the box score, you really have no idea what happened. Both teams went 15 for 37 from three. Both teams, the difference in foul shots made is one. Golden State made one more foul shot. So, skeptics may say, oh, man, they were getting all the calls. No, the difference in the actual foul shots made was just one. Turnovers tended to be a big key. Golden State only had 12 turnovers. Boston had 18. And Golden State made 9 more shots. So that actually happened to be a big determining factor. They got a couple more shots off. Looney in the inside, he gave you 6 for 6 on the inside. He was hustling. He was getting offensive rebounds. He was getting hustle buckets. Golden State didn't have that in game one. So Golden State took game two by a large margin, but I still don't think the tone in the series is set. And let's actually talk about what we expect to happen in game three now. The series is going to Boston, and I'll just tell you what I expect to have happen. I think this game is going to be close from beginning to end. The score may be, 9-10 point different here and there, but we're going to come in for a photo finish. And I think it's going to be a couple big shots that have to be made. Personally, I think Golden State wins the first game in Boston. And I'll tell you what, like Wudi says, Steph has been really consistent. So I think Steph is going to come on the road. He's playing. He wants his first finals MVP. He's shooting like it. I think he's going to have an unbelievable shooting game. And we're going to see which team's role players helps out the stars the most, because that's really going to determine who wins the game. I think you get a good game from Wiggins. Draymond Green hits a three that's going to just annoy Boston fans because he can't shoot. And I just think Gary Payton II is a big addition because he can guard Marcus Smart. Like when you put him out there, or he could guard White. He can literally on the perimeter take their offense away. That's a big addition. So I got Golden State winning Game 3.
I gotta agree with the impact of GP2. To see him back out there, he definitely made an impact. I mean, Otto Porter is somebody that nobody's talking about, but they might, have to start talking about him if he's going to hit threes at the clip. That I feel like every, time that momentum is shifting the other way, Otto Porter's just hitting a random, open three. So the depth there. I actually feel more confident in the floor of the Golden State bench. Like the Boston bench, clearly, we've seen Grant Williams, pretty much send Giannis home, right, with his 6, threes in that game 7. We've seen, Peyton Pritchard go off. We clearly just saw Derek White, come off the bench and, have the game of a lifetime. But I feel like it's like almost like a high floor, low ceiling type deal. Did I say the wrong thing? I did. I think I said high. I meant to say high ceiling, low floor. So with the Warriors, I mean, I don't expect Otto Porter to surpass 20 points at any point in this series, but I do think he will continue hitting any open shots. He'll be hitting open shots. Gary Payton, I don't think he's gonna stop having good defensive games. So with that, who's gonna win Game 3? I mean, is Jason Tatum going to show up in front of the hometown crowd? I mean, I feel like that's a big one. But I would probably say Golden State. I think they're super motivated. I think they were embarrassed from Game 1. I think they are going to be on a mission to take home court advantage back. And the best way to do it is to do it right here, right now. Don't wait for Game 4. Come out with some intensity. I also think Klay Thompson will not make less than 5 shots in a game for the rest of the series. So, I'm taking Golden State in Game 3.
All right. I'm going to counter with 2 things. First of all, talk about it being embarrassed. The Celtics were absolutely smacked in the mouth, embarrassed last game, right? They're coming home to Boston. They got to defend home court. You want to talk about somebody who's not going to make less than 5 shots in a game going forward? I'd put my money on Tatum, especially in Boston, right? He's got to show up. And I've been saying this to all of my, friends who are Celtics fans I talk to. I'm like, we want to put Tatum on this pedestal, top 5 player, top 8 player, whatever in the league, okay? Tatum needs to show it on the big stage, right? You need to have guys that can go in there and kill, right? Defend your home court. And he needs to come in and, we watched Luka, drop 40 on him every single game. I mean, go out, be Luka. Like, go, just if you're that good, go out and drop 40, drop 45, because right now your team needs you. You haven't been producing points. You've been shooting 3 for 17. Jaylen Brown is the Robin to your Batman, and he's going 5 for 17 and bricking everything, left and right. The first, I mean, it's a miracle we won Game 1. With the fact that, kudos to Horford, White, and Smart for carrying the load. And I thought Game 2 it would be a challenge for Golden State, because I said, we're not going to see another game like that from Brown and Tatum again. And you can't expect the role players to put up that type of night, night in and night out. And so you go back to Boston. Tatum and Brown really need to show up, and I think they do show up, both of them, in a big way in Game 3 specifically. And then we'll see what happens in Game 4. I think Golden State, they're going to be against the ropes, and it's going to go punch for punch again.
Do you really think Jaylen Brown has been struggling like that?
Yeah. If he has been playing more out of control than I've seen in quite a while. Like he's aggressive, but almost to the point of just being like, he's throwing the ball away. He's losing the ball off his own knees. he's going in the air without a target to pass to, and then it's just he is erratic. He's just it's like he's nervous with the ball in his hands, and all the athletic skill, everything's there, right? But he just can't slow it down, and it's like, with him and Tatum. That's why I say, I'm going to save this for later, because it's one of my takes on our wings and things. Spoiler alert. But yeah, that's what I got. I agree with you, Wudi. It's gonna come down to Brown and Tatum. They got to produce.
I agree with you on Jaylen Brown. I'm a little surprised. I've actually always thought that his handle was a little suspect. I mean, it's not like he's a bad ball handler, but I think Klay Thompson is, so people underrate him as a defender. Klay can play D. He can move.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
But I think NBA offensive talent think, man, I'm about to take Klay. Like, he just a stick shooter. And then all of a sudden, Klay is in front of you everywhere you try to go. Klay is playing D. And I think Jaylen Brown is like experiencing this for the first time. And, he's 15 for 40 on the series. First game, they won, so it didn't really look too bad. But the second game, he was really not comfortable. He was losing the ball. He just wasn't comfortable. Even when they switch other defenders on him, he's just not comfortable. I do think ultimately, so we're sitting here today and we're talking about game 3 that's coming up. By the time everybody watches this, game 3 will not have been played. The next time we all reconvene, it could possibly be before game 6. I don't think the series going to end in 5 games. Personally, I think this is going to be another split in Boston. Right? You know me, I'm on record saying I got it going 7. And I'm going to put it out there. I called it the last season, the Boston Celtics versus Miami Heat. This time is a little different. I got 2 splits, 2 home splits, both home teams winning 5 and 6, and then game 7. Is gonna come down to it. Game 7. Boston hasn't lost 2 games in a row all playoffs. I just think that streak's about to end. So that
don't bet against the streak, Will. Don't bet
against the streak. Right. And I usually don't win bets. So Celtics fans, you should be happy about that, because I said the word bet. But
thank you, Will.
But I do believe Golden State gets this win, and I'll tell you why. There's a couple things that haven't necessarily happened yet for Golden State. Steph is being consistent. Steph is playing. He's playing ball. They turn the defense up. Golden State is a good defensive team. They get underrated. People think Steph Curry can't play.
Oh, they're great. Yeah.
Steph plays D, man. He's not out there just getting cooked. You don't have to hide him. He plays defense. But Klay Thompson in this series is shooting horribly. He is shooting absolutely terrible. He was 4 for 19 last game. He was 6 for 14 the first game, which isn't too bad. But if you put both together, he's 10 out of 33 on the series, right? Nobody is wired. This guy is wired different. And they're 1-1. Klay knows he's got to get it going. And Klay likes to show up on the road, especially in the NBA Finals. And I think he's going to get hot this next game. I think he's going to have about 6 to 8 threes. And I think Steph is going to have about 5 or 6 threes. And then that's just going to give them some momentum on the road. Draymond is going to be doing his thing. I think in this game 3, I think Golden State wins, but I don't think they just knock the Celtics out. Now, I would love to hear what you guys think about, the rest of the potential games this week. They play Wednesday, they play Friday, then they'll be back Monday next week.
I would feel pretty comfortable locking the split in Boston in. I think I think they're splitting. I do think it'll be Warriors 3, Boston 4, and then 5. I don't know. 5 is tough. That's always right. The pivotal one, the one that really shifts the entire series. I I do have the Warriors in 6, so I guess they got to win 5. They got to win game 5, and they got to win 6. But I mean, Boston's not going to go down without a fight, and I'm really curious to see what happens when Tatum plays like Jason Tatum, and if Tatum and Brown are at their, close to their ceiling, what that looks like. Because we have not seen it this year. We haven't even come close.
We haven't seen one of them do it. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, they put up totals. It just hasn't been efficient.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm like really curious to see that because who knows what that what kind of pressure that will put on Golden State. But to Will's point, I mean Clay. I mean. For somebody who's a splash brother, considers himself, 77th, on that all 75 list, we definitely are going to see some games from him. So what is that going to look like if he and Clay are splashing, just creating all this havoc, for the rest of, so that, there's so much space that now Wiggins can put somebody on the Celtics on a poster, like we haven't seen the best of either of these teams. So I'm really curious to see how that matches up when they're at full strength, because we just haven't seen it.
Speaking of full strength, CJ, man, what about your boy Robert Williams? It looks a little hobbled up right now, and that is a big that's a big factor in this series.
He played 14 minutes, right? He is a factor in this series, but the small lineup that Udoka put out there in the fourth quarter against the Celtics is the one that made that run, right? Rob had nothing. Rob was not a part of that. So I hate, as much as I hate seeing Tice out on the floor in a finals. I mean, I'm okay if Draymond's at the 5 spot. You can stick Grant Williams out there at the 5. There's no problem with that. Sure, the shot blocking is not going to be there. The rim protection's not going to be there. But listen, we did it without Rob against the Nets. He's not the X factor of this team. As much as I love him, we have other centers that can do more things, stretch the floor, create more space for Tatum and Brown to work. So. Give and take, we'll they're just going to have to adjust. That's my take on Rob Williams. I'm not, chewing my fingernails off because he might miss, a game or only be able to play 15 minutes going forward. That's
my thing about Robert Williams is this. He's a bona fide shot blocker. And he keeps like Steph. When Steph drives and Robert Williams is in the area, Steph doesn't go up as comfortably, whether Robert shows up on the box score with a block shot or not. You just watch Steph. He's thinking about where this guy is coming from to alter his shot.
So this is advantageous. This is advantageous, the timeline that they've just created too, because we've got 3 days off in between games.
That's fine. Like that's fine. But I want to piggyback off of what you said. You said the small ball lineup is what got Boston back into the game, which absolutely is true. That perimeter was locked and the Warriors couldn't go inside. But what did Steve Kerr do? He expected Boston to come back out with that same pressure. But now all of a sudden, Kayvon Looney is scoring in the inside. They gave him an emphasis to go up because there's really no one down there to really contest him, and he went 6 for 6 all on the inside. The first game, he had 6 offensive rebounds. But he wasn't getting the rebound and going up the score. The second game, he only had 1 offensive rebound, but there were drives to the basket and you hitting off Kayvon Looney with a pass, and he had the presence of mind to go up. He's going to actually bring that energy to the small ball lineup again. But now you're going to have Robert Williams out there. If he's been hobbled all playoffs, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be playing in Game 3. But I think that's something to look out for. I think that's something to look out for because I don't think Boston's small ball lineup can maintain Golden State's small ball lineup, like long term. They had a hot fourth quarter, but I'm saying like long term, I don't think it's sustainable.
You
I think
can't get into a shooting match. You definitely can't get into a shooting match, right? That you just, I mean, you're talking about Steph and Clay, and then you got Otto Porter who's hitting 80% of his threes. I mean, it's like, and then it's just like, and then Jordan Poole comes in and he's hitting shots from 45 feet and not even hitting the rim. Like I will tell you at that point, as a Celtics fan, I shut the game off and said, all right, this one's not for us. I didn't want to watch anymore. After Jordan Poole hit that, I was like, okay, well, he's figured it out. So he's just like channeled his inner state. I just couldn't handle any more of that. And I knew more was coming. It was just tough sledding that second game. But so the rest of this week, which is what the question was, is because I said the Celtics in 6, and I am sticking to it. Okay. This is me wearing my green goggles through and through because I know we just got spanked. I think that is a reality check, a wake-up call. Udoka's going to have them ready for Game 3. They're going to take Game 3. They're going to come back, and they're going to take Game 4 as well. They're going to go back to Golden State, lose a tight one, and then guess what? Come back to Boston, and they're going to take it in Boston in 6. So that's what's going to happen for the Celtics. They are going to defend the Garden to the death. And wow. Tatum is not going to show up again in Golden State, and he's going to poop himself in Golden State, but he's going to play really, really well this series. Brown's going to show up, not be erratic with the ball and cause all these, like Brown alone. I was watching, there was 3 possessions in a row where Brown either passed or missed a shot that led to a Golden State bucket, and it was either an 8 or 9-0 run, basically in the hands of Jaylen Brown. And you just can't have that. I mean, that's you're single-handedly taking your team out of the game. I don't see that happening in Boston. So 2 out of the next 3 are going to Boston.
Well, speaking about streaks, that would, if that were to occur, that would end the streak of the Warriors winning at least one away game this year. I mean, this playoffs, right? Every series this playoffs, they've won at least one on the road. So we'll see if that streak is killed by the Boston, in the Garden. I don't think I think it will continue. But then again, there was another streak that the Warriors were actually undefeated at home and in Game 1. That was broken. So I don't even know what to believe, but I personally think that these games will be intense. I mean, I completely agree that Ime has had these guys bounce back. The resilience of when they do get beat up, they come back and they're hitting 10 times harder. So I do think this Game 3 will definitely be a slobber knocker. But I just think the Warriors, they're, honestly, the refs might end up taking this one over, like you said with Draymond. I mean, yeah, Draymond is definitely an instigator. He definitely gets in people's heads. I do think Marcus Smart is the closest thing we have in the league to like a miniature Draymond in terms of all the flopping and just like underrated things. Like, now that we have social media, we can see all these things, right? Bill Laimbeer elbows somebody in the ribs 75 times. You don't see it, right? If it's not on the national game, we don't see it. But with social media, we're seeing all these little things now. So I think that Marcus Smart is also cut from that same cloth, just a little miniature version. So who's going to get, the most of those to fly, under the radar? I feel like Iggy could also, right? He's one of those. And then also Grant Williams, so I feel like both teams have guys that can get in people's heads, get under the skin. So it'll be a tight one, but I still got the Warriors in 6.
Nice.
Hey, speaking of Iguodala, I don't even think Iguodala got to play last game.
No, he's hurt. He was out.
He was.
Yeah, I didn't think but I thought he was day to day. So I think.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think we're going to see Iggy back in this series. To be honest,
I don't think he's. I don't think he's got it. He's. I think he's Udonis at this point.
Yep. Iggy is done, man. It's been a good run. GP2, what it do? GP2 is here. He's back. And it's going to be good, man. I can't wait to see game 3. I really can't wait to see in game 3. So, ladies and gentlemen, CJ has the C's winning the championship on Thursday next week. We'll read into his green crystal ball to see if it happened. I got the Golden State Warriors winning it on Juneteenth. And Wudi has, the gold crystal ball. And he's got the Golden State Warriors winning it on Thursday next week. We're going to see what happens. But either way, we're going to be back with another, episode of the NBA Finals recap to really project what's going on. I think we're going to be 5 games in by the time we reconvene, and it's going to be fun. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. How about we transition over to some green grass real quick and we get over to some semi-sidelines? Because the match
outside. We could be outside. We're outside and sideline. We outside.
And the people who was playing was side to side, right? That's how they ride. You had the GOAT Tom Brady against Aaron Rodgers. You had old school versus new school. It's Patty Mahomes and it's Josh Allen. They went head to head on the golf course. What do we call that? Course side?
Course.
I don't know about
green
that.
Side? Do we call it green side? Do we call
green
it
side? Course side. I mean, yeah, green. I don't even agree. Yeah, green side.
Green side. I don't know. Well, look, hey,
we'll figure it out, right?
Golf.
We got time.
We got nothing for you. But
golf segment.
I actually think this was entertaining.
It was amazing.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was great because it brought some personality out of NFL players that you don't get to see often. In a sport that people who, there's a select people out there who loved to watch golf, but it's not up there with the NFL, like in terms of viewership. So, but you got to see people play a game with some entertainment commentary, and you got to really see how they compete, fellas. What do you think about the event that went down?
With Trash Allen, I mean, Patty Mahomes was carrying the load for his team. Felt bad for him. I was like, you got to get a better golfer for him right now. No, but it honestly, I'll reiterate, what you said, Yadi. It was fun, right? Like, I wish they do that more with different athletes too. Like, let's go get not just NFL. Let's go get a guy from the Major League Baseball, and then a guy from the NFL, and then another guy from the NBA. Just let's just like mix and match. Let's play. Let's get 2 NBA guys versus 2 NFL guys, right? Like, obviously they probably had to like try out. They're good golfers. Obviously, I'm hating on Allen, but he definitely beat me, no doubt. I thought it was fun. Steph Curry, he hits him well. Get him out there. He did his own little golf show. With what is it, Rob Riggle?
Yeah.
So like I thought it was great because of personalities. You can hear them kind of be candid with each other, and just a fun watch especially for people that don't really watch golf. You might just watch it because the personalities are funny, and you can have celebrity hosts and stuff like that. So it makes golf more entertaining.
It's crazy to me, right? Because everybody loved the match. I'm one of them, right? It's just a great way to see some personalities, that you may not necessarily see like in that environment. Brings eyes, like if somebody is not normally watching golf, here they are watching golf. For the people that do like golf, right, it might be interesting to see. But when Jake Paul does that in boxing, it's a travesty. It's disrespect to boxing, even though we're getting eyes on people, right? We're seeing athletes in like different light, right? We're seeing Frank Gore out here just throwing hands with Darren Williams. I love it all right? And there are eyes on legitimate boxers when they fight on the undercards of those fights. But for some reason, there is a difference. I don't see it, but there is some sort of difference. Oh, Oh,
May I respond?
yes, you sure
The,
can.
the difference is that if you go into a golf, like, all right, so Jake Paul is fighting people who are not actually boxers. So
Is Patrick Mahomes and Aaron? What are you talking about? That's the exact same thing.
does he wants to be known as a boxer, right? There's a difference. Brady and Mahomes and all those guys aren't like trying out for the PGA right now, right? And like making a mockery of it and saying that they can like whoop Tiger or somebody on the tour, right? And being like disrespectful about it. Jake Paul's coming out here calling out like all sorts of people and like saying that he can be a legitimate boxer and he'd whoop people and all this. It's like, okay, well, go out there, go ahead and face off against an actual boxer in your weight class and we'll see. And if you know what, Jake Paul, if you do beat a boxer, just as I said, like that's in the top of his game, like give me even a top 10 boxer, okay, in his weight class to fight Jake Paul, and Jake Paul beats him, I will shut up and say, all right, Jake Paul, you are a boxer. You deserve to be in the sport. You're fantastic. And I will shut up now about that. But like right now, it is kind of a different light. You're not,
the way I see it, it's clearly different marketing strategies, right? Because you're right? Tom Brady's not, talking smack. I mean, even though he did play against Tiger, right? Like, because this is a 6-1 that they've done, right, of the match. And this is Tom Brady's third.
He did play with Tiger, so your comparison is fair, I guess. I'll backpedal on my argument.
Okay, yeah, because and honestly, with Logan and with this, the results have been very similar. Like Jake Paul has now gotten his name multiple. He is there multiple times in the top 10 pay-per-view buy rates of all time. Right, people actually pay to see him over like Tank Davis, who just had a magnificent 6-round KO. Oh, yeah. Right? He's they didn't make it all that top 10.
I mean, I guess that sucks, and it kind of sucks for sport. You could look at it and say it sucks for the sport of golf too, because probably a lot more. I shouldn't even say that because I don't know the ratings. But
no, I'll tell you them. The Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, when they played with Tiger and Phil. Yeah. Was the highest rated one of these of all time. It was actually the highest rated golf event of all time.
So there you have it, right? So it's fun to it is fun to watch. I guess, you can blame it on the marketing. You can blame it on the athlete who's doing it, right? Like Jake Paul is a polarizing personality and the way that he presents, the way that he wants to go about that is different than if you're going to watch Tom Brady go play golf against Phil Mickelson, right? Like, it's just a little different flavor. So whatever your cup of tea might be, I mean, listen, I'll tune in and watch Jake Paul. But like I said, if he wants to be, I think the goal of him, is to be considered a legitimate boxer. And if he wants to do that, go ahead and face somebody that's actually in the sport, that's well trained. This is what they do, and show me you can compete against them. That's it.
I like the Jake Paul comparison, and even though you backpedal, I'm going to pick that pedal back up, man. I'll tell you what the difference is. For one, you were right. Actually, the only reason why people give Jake Paul a hard time is because he is boasting about how good he is at boxing, but he's not boxing boxers, right? He's boxing NFL players, former, UFC, grapplers, not boxers. He's fighting these guys and he's going around boasting. Like, we want to see him box a boxer. But I'll tell you what the difference is. These guys, you want to talk about Brady and Rodgers and Mahomes and Allen, they're just having fun playing golf against each other. They're not trying to be golfers. Like, if Tony Romo was out there, he loves golfing. It's different. Like, he loves golfing, but he's not. And the reason why the ratings are so high, now I'm not mad at the Paul brothers for driving ratings because they know how to promote. And what fans want in today's world is to be entertained. It's not like the old days where you want to see a competitive match. fans want to watch the sports that they love and they want to see it from an entertaining aspect. It's entertaining to watch somebody who isn't a boxer get in the ring and box. Like, yo, I want to see this. Like, that's entertainment. That draws people. And the Paul brothers have figured that out. It's entertaining to watch NFL players compete against each other in golf. And then you put it on television, right? Well, that's what I'm saying. From an entertainment standpoint, like the difference in what I'm saying, Wudi, is the same from an entertainment standpoint. But the reason why Jake Paul gets trashed is because he's out there boasting like, yo, I could be the best boxer ever. And he's never fighting a boxer. So people who are passionate about boxing, like, man, shut up and go fight a boxer. Now, if Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Aaron Rodgers were talking about, man, I killed a PGA, and they was never showing up to the PGA, then they would get trashed as well, like just like Paul gets. But it is very entertaining, and people love to see this. I will never watch a PGA tournament unless it's on SportsCenter highlights, right? I just won't watch it. Like Phil Mickelson, Rory McIlroy, like Tiger Woods. What I'm talking about, Tom Brady. Tiger Woods, like
he does it all, bro. He does it all.
Tiger's been doing this since I was in like small grade school, and I just can't watch golf. But I could watch some quarterbacks compete in golf. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Let me see what they do. And especially when you got Charles Barkley saying suspect things that he shouldn't be saying, it boosts ratings. So what does this do for the sport of golf? Now, to me, it doesn't help the actual sport of golf, because these entertaining figures who come play the game, there's professional golfers out there who can do amazing things, and nobody knows their name. And a lot of people don't care. Now, no disrespect to the audience that loves golf, but you have to understand that you are a small audience out there compared to the other sports. And so I don't think this is really good for golf.
Well, it would be better. It would be better if they, if it wasn't just all quarterbacks. Like my defense of Jake is that there are like legitimate boxers on the card that do get their name out by being on that card, right? Like if I'm up and coming, I would love to be on that card. So with the match, I think, like for example, the last match that they just did was Bryson versus Brooks. If Bryson walked into my house right now, I would not know who that is. I'd call the cops. I'd be like, there's a strange man in my house, right? Like no one knows.
He's wearing a weird hat. I don't know why. It's
that match didn't even crack 1 million viewers. Okay, that's how many people cared about that match. But if it was Bryson and Brady versus Rodgers and Brooks, I'm sure you would have been able to get over 1 million. Maybe, not the 6 million that, Phil and Tiger were able to do. But even if you get 3, that's how you get eyes on your stars, because people go there for Brady and they're like, oh, wow, he's teamed up with this Bryson guy. He's pretty cool. Or, the other way around. So I feel like that's a great way to do it. Or even to do a tournament. If you have like 8 people, 4 NFL players or 4 with 4 legitimate golfers, I feel like that's the way, when the eyes are there, to actually get attention on the actual athletes that play the sport.
Well, it'll get people to try the sport too, I think. Like, you're like, oh, shit. Like, a lot of people are, oh, Steph Curry, he's out there just like cooking the golf course, like hitting it. Maybe I'll go take a couple swings out there myself to see what golf's all about. Like, why not? But yeah,
I think they could have made the match more entertaining if you kind of crossed the sport. Like, let's say we had Tom Brady and Michael Jordan go against like
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird. Like, that would have been a dope match, because you got 4 of the greatest of all time from different realms of things. 4 of the most competitive people ever. Like, put Michael Jordan on one team and put Isaiah Thomas on another team.
Yeah,
right?
Whatever, man.
And then
You
put
can make
Tom
a lot of
Brady
you.
and Joe Montana as their teammates. Like that. See, like now you could do that type of stuff, because I love the whole celebrity deathmatch boxing type of thing. Like I want to see guys fight each other, but they don't want to fight each other. Like a lot of people don't want to do that.
And then
like,
there's all these rules tied to it too, right? Like it's just
yeah.
no
But
head.
I would love to see them compete in something. Like, really you can compete in tennis, you can compete in golf, you can compete in basketball. But like,
Sure.
some people don't they rather play a much more relaxed sport, to preserve their body. So I think golf, that's how you get me watching golf. You just take like I would love Mike Tyson, even he could be trash at golf, right? I would love to see Mike Tyson try to drive a putt down the field and be like, oh man, I messed up my swing. Like,
Mike, remember that was Will Gaddy who said that. It was nobody else on this show. That was Will Gaddy with the impression.
Mike,
nobody else said that.
Mike, I'm not on an airplane, buddy. I ain't antagonize you. I'm just on the air. Period. I would love to have you come on the Thigh to Thigh Sportscast.
Stop that. You better stop that.
Yo, it's just gonna probably be me and Wudi here next week. And just let me
know. Hey, comedians have said worse, so don't you pull a Will Smith and try to smack me, man. Come on, you tougher than that, man. And I ain't making no money. Like I ain't making money like Chris Rock. So you know what I mean. But anyway, I would love to see stuff like that. So I don't think the match is good for golf. I think for somebody like me, it makes golf less appealing and the match more appealing. So, yeah, I guess it makes me watch golf a little bit more. Might even make me go miniature golfing, but for the actual professional sport, I don't think it adds any value to that. Do you fellas agree or disagree?
I mean, the match itself, yeah. I mean, it's real. I mean, no one. I don't think anybody watched that and was like, "Oh, you know what? I better tune into the PGA Tour now." Now that I saw that, like, no one's saying that. But I do think that just for like the branding of the sport, if they were to pair, athletes with actual golfers, like that Bryson Brooks idea, I do think now his name is just more out there in the public conscious, so that. I think you would see more views or more engagement that way for sure. But the way that's currently formatted, where quarterbacks play quarterbacks and golfers play golfers, I mean, they see in the ratings, one couldn't crack 1 million, one is consistently doing 5, 6. We don't know the ratings yet for this most recent one because it was only 6 days ago, but yeah, I would imagine it's also it could actually probably beat 6, because I know a lot of people were all over it.
Well, I think we getting a little hungry, boys. You ready to do some wings and things?
I am ready for some wings, man. I'm ready for some wings, and I'm ready to talk about some things. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about what's saucy in the sports world today. This is one of those interesting times of year where you got the NBA Finals, the NFL offseason, Major League Baseball is kind of at the later stages of the first half of their year. And then you just got a bunch of other things happening, like the matches and this and that. You got NBA trade rumors flying all around. And let's talk about some of these things and compare it to wings. So we're going to start off with the mild sauce. And we already know if you ain't about that spicy stuff and you want to just be a little bit laid back and you really are not like the most appealing. People who want mild wings usually don't have the palate for like something that's really spicy. It's just they want to be safe. And you know who's playing it safe right now? And it gets on my freaking nerves. I'm going to just have to say Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones are still mild as crap. Because every time it's time to sign a player and you put them on a franchise tag, you really wait until that July 15th date. Like you wait until the last second to do stuff. And then guess what? You put Dalton Schultz, who is a good tight end, not a great tight end, but he's a good tight end. We need to keep him, right? We need to keep him. He's a possession receiver. We just lost Amari. You put him on a franchise tag. Get the deal done. You know what happens when you don't get the deal done? David Njoku all of a sudden gets overpaid. And now Dalton Schultz like, oh, I'm not going to OTAs. You didn't do my contract yet. I need more than Njoku. My stats are way better than his. I don't care where he was drafted. So this is what I'm talking about. This is mild wings. It's just not impressing anybody who wants to win a Super Bowl, man. We want hot wings, man, not mild wings with these basic business decisions. So I'm just going to have to say, Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, hire a real GM because y'all wings is not crispy and they mad mild trash.
I don't know, Wudi. You want to follow up that, or you want me to take this right now? You know what? I'm going to take this because we're in the dog days of summer for the MLB, and this is my mild sauce right now. But my prediction, and if I believe as of today, it may have changed tonight. For the first time ever, 4 of the 5 teams in the AL East would make it to the playoffs. 2 of those would be the wild card teams, obviously. And that would be incredible to see. First of all, I think that you're looking at the Red Sox and Rays making a push to get into the playoffs and go into that 1-game series that they have to a 1-game playoff, if you will. And I think that'd be quite interesting to see. And I think it's going to happen. It's my mild sauce because, it's a long way to go in the season, fellas. And I just thought it was interesting. Could see a loaded division in the playoffs for first time ever.
Wow, that's I don't know. It sounds better than mild, but maybe those are just some.
It's a long way off. It's a long way off, so it's it's not quite spicy yet, right? It's heating up. There's potential to heat up.
Well, I am 100% certain that you want my mild to heat up, but we don't know if it will. My mild sauce won't. I'll just cut to the chase. I mean, you text Kobe and now you screenshot it. The whole world's hyping you up. You're wearing shirts, paying homage, doing all these things. Jason Tatum, you keep mentioning Kobe's name. You're shooting 30% from the field in the NBA Finals. I mean, the boy is mild. I mean, I feel like you're disrespecting the legacy. You're disrespecting. Stop mentioning Kobe. You're not playing like Kobe. Kobe has never shot as poorly as you have so far. Has never, struggled the way that he's struggling. But I feel like Jason Tatum is really, looking for attention in every way possible. I mean, if you want to tribute the man, you out here sending texts, I respect that, the love, the legacy, but, you screenshot it, send it around. I feel like, that's a grab for attention. Everything else, on IG, changing the IG profile, that's a shot for attention. So prove that you're worth mentioning the Mamba in the same breath as your name by not playing like trash. Because right now, very mild. Jason Tatum.
It's a great point. Love that you brought that up. I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, when he wore the armband the first time, I even was like, oh boy, here we go. He's going to put up a 4 for 21 game right now. This is not going to be good. But yeah, I mean, I'll swing things over to the medium. Let's spice it up a little bit. Give a little flavor, a little kick for the night right now. So my medium sauce is the NFL Pro Bowl as a category. I don't know why, because it's about to get a little fiery. And that's because they're actually not going to do the Pro Bowl game. Fantastic. Woohoo. Everybody, hurrah. They are going to do potentially more skills oriented things like they used to have back in the day, and it was just so much fun to watch with the quarterbacks launching the ball as far as they can and throwing at different targets, and the field goal competition was even fun to watch. Like, they can do so much with that game. I'll watch everybody play dodgeball against each other, team up and do that. Yeah, hell yeah. We're just talking about this before, right? If you just want to see pro athletes do other things other than what they're good at, Just have fun with it. Put these guys on 4-team squads and let them compete in all these different challenges and make it, like, those old Nickelodeon game shows. I don't care. Make it fun, right? I'll watch that stuff. I'm not going to watch the Pro Bowl, and they finally figured it out. So it's getting a little spicy, and I like it. The NFL. Good job.
Well, what's medium wings, like the light buffalo sauce, just a little bit of buffalo on it, We not talking about Buffalo, but we going to talk about New York for a second, because I'm going to say Saquon Barkley is medium sauce right now.
Wudi was buckling up. He thought Jets were
for no reason. But I'll tell you why. Everybody is a little intrigued by Saquon Barkley's fantasy football value. Now you got Andrew Thomas on the left side. You got Evan Neal on the right side. You kind of beefed up that interior line. So the Giants, people just look at it like, oh, this is one of the best lines in the NFL, and they haven't even taken the field yet, but that's okay. I'm not here to trash the Giants. The upside is there, but because the upside is there, people are like, Saquon's going to be back. You got that boy, Daboll at the coach, right? Like he been churning out 1,500-yard backs all the time. I don't know. It's just like the value for Saquon is just it appears right now, like this is his chance. So I'm going to put him in the medium sauce category because he absolutely does have a chance to redefine his worth. Hasn't been the best first contract ever. Injuries. His last 15 games are pretty weak sauce. But right now, healthy, you in the medium sauce category, Saquon.
That's so funny because it's funny for a couple of reasons. Every reason that you said about Saquon, about like the potential and, where we don't really know what's going on, can be applied to my medium. You see how I view medium wings. I feel like the average person, they know what they want, right? They either, they're usually on either side of the spectrum. Like, hey, like I love the taste, but I don't love, the heat. So I go with mild. Or I love the heat, give me the heat, hot. Like medium is actually the least chosen one because that involves indecision. It's like, which, do I want the heat? I don't want all the heat. I want some, or, I want all the, some of the flavor, you just don't know. You don't know. There's uncertainty. So you pick the medium and you have no idea, where along the spectrum, if it's closer to hot or mild. So it's really a guessing game, which is pretty much what Will said about Saquon Barkley's fantasy value. So my medium sauce, also in the NFL, is the entire Cleveland Browns organization because they just gave a lot of money to Deshaun Watson, who is out here literally playing one-on-one ball with Mia Khalifa. So, he is out here just doing his own thing. And
you don't know who that is. Look her up, kids.
Oh, I definitely didn't say that. I definitely didn't. But yes, he is definitely doing his own thing. They have another quarterback on the roster. His name is Baker Mayfield, and I don't know if he's going anywhere. I know he wants to go somewhere. He feels hurt. Right, he's one of the more emotional guys in the entire NFL. Right, I don't think he wants to play, but he's under contract. So if I'm Amari Cooper, who just signed there, right, and now he's there, who's my quarterback? Like if I'm the whole team, like what are they doing right now in OTAs? Like who are they? What are they preparing for? So there is an unbelievable amount of uncertainty. I do think if Deshaun Watson plays the whole year, the AFC North is going to be, they will rival the AFC West. If Deshaun Watson is healthy, plays the whole season, I think that is something that will take place. But we don't know. And Baker, one thing about Baker, he played hurt pretty much all of last year. And the media doesn't give him enough credit for it. And obviously he's been getting disrespected and slandered nonstop. If he has to start the first 5 games or 6 games, he will do everything in his power to not relinquish that job. So a lot of uncertainty. I have no idea what's going to happen, and that's my medium sauce, the Cleveland Browns.
I genuinely thought you were going to say the Browns know who their quarterback is. They don't, is it Deshaun Watson? Is it Baker Mayfield? Is it Mia Khalifa? We don't know. Nobody knows. Good Lord.
All I know is, man, Deshaun better not have been practicing taking snaps under center.
Oh, good Lord.
Anyway, man. Anyway, listen.
Too funny.
Anyway, listen. I'm going to get to my hot sauce. It's hot. It is not the hottest sauce because ain't that much hot sauce in sports right now. It ain't nothing that's just sizzling. But there is something that's hot. And I'm going to have to give it to that boy, Wardell Curry, Stephen Curry. We're going to have to give it to Steph Curry. I'll tell you why, right? He's right now under the radar. The series is only 1-1. But in 2 games, Steph has made 12 threes. Guess who has the record for most threes in a playoff series? Steph Curry. In 2015, he made 32 threes in a 7-game series. Well, guess what? In 2 games, he's got 12. This boy is not making less than 5 threes in any game this series. The boy is shooting, man. He is locked in. He's just taking shots. He's locked in. I think he's going to beat his own record, whether or not the Warriors win the championship. Steph is locked in. Steph is sizzling. Steph is doing a shimmy. He does the 1, the 2, the 3. He got the corniest antics, but you can't even say anything because he makes the freaking shot. And Steph Curry is hot sauce right now in the NBA Finals, going for his first ever NBA Finals MVP to get himself into the top 10 conversation, which I already had him in there. I got him in there already. But he's working on his resume and his legacy.
Right, I'm here to correct you because you said that there's nothing sizzling in the sports world. And maybe there isn't much sizzle, on the court side. And right now, it's OTAs on the sidelines. But if you were to take your attention to the rink side, you would see that the New York Rangers are the hottest team in the NHL, and they might be the ones to finally bring a championship parade to the Big Apple, okay, because they've been on fire. I mean, last series, they faced the best defensive team in the entire NHL, the Carolina Hurricanes, and they took them out. 7 games, it was a battle, it was a struggle, and now, okay, they're going against the defending champs, the best goalie, okay? He had only 6 goals in the last 180 shots allowed, all right? That percentage is unbelievable. 183 shots, 6 goals. With the Rangers' first 24 shots, they scored 6 goals. Their offense is unbelievable. They're averaging 4 goals a game against this goalie, Vasilevsky, and they are averaging. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. I'm telling you right now, the New York Rangers are going to win the Stanley Cup. All right, they are about to just smack these defending champs, and they're going to get there. I'm telling you, New York, the championship parade. You can see me. Look for me, okay? Look for me in like 3 weeks in the New York championship parade for the Rangers because they're getting there. They are sizzling hot. That is my hot sauce ringside.
That's habanero. That's habanero. That's ghost pepper hot. That's
shout out to the ringside.
All right,
they on the ice, but they
hot. We are course side. We are rink side today. I got volleyball coming. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have sand side today. We're not sand side. No, we're gonna go back to the court. I'm glad that I can clean this up tonight with a little bit of Celtics action because here's what we got for the sizzling hot take. Not for this year, right? I don't know if the Celtics are going to be able to take out Golden State this year. I truly do not. What I do know is that the Celtics are winning the championship next year. If they win this year, they're going back to back. Next year is their year. I think the writing's on the wall. This team is ultra talented. They've faltered. They've dealt with injuries like Rob Williams. Marcus Smart's been out at times. They've figured it out. They had some growing pains at the beginning of the season with Udoka. Having that full season with Udoka, Brad Stevens making even more brilliant changes, like getting, Al Horford and Derek White, who are huge components to this entire playoff run to begin with. I look forward to what else he has up his sleeve. I don't know what kind of savvy veterans he's going to bring on to add some more depth to this team. I don't know how we have trade exceptions up the wazoo that he's created. So this offseason, we could even see a better Celtics team than what we see right now. A better Jason Tatum, a better Jaylen Brown, and a team that has been to the finals against one of this generation's best teams. They are well prepared, well equipped to win it next year, and they should be the favorites. I think they're going to be the favorites next year. That's my sizzling hot take for you.
Go ahead and shoot your shot, man. I'm not even mad at that. I'm not even mad at that. And I love how it froze on the form.
That was pretty crazy.
That was pretty crazy.
Oh, freeze. All right. Beautiful.
It froze on the form. Well, that was awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, this was another awesome episode of the Side to Side Sportscast. Your boys Will, Wudi, and CJ. You know, we always break it down from all sides, but we want you to come on the Sportscast, call it how you see it, call it how you saw it, call out those who didn't see it how you saw it. Tell us what you think about what's happening. We want to know what's saucy in the sports world coming from you today. But until we see you, we